it. Now, let's be careful. I'm saying this first part is how we know how this reality is. We also our journalists fraternity back, all Manipur, working journalists, students, editors in Manipur. What do you think? Shouldn't they also speak up? That's what we are. See, we are doing this analysis for now 1.5 months. Day in, day out, we are working with young people and professionals. They are working also, but at the same time investing their time and energy to do this kind of analysis, going line by line, understanding standard of analysis of newspaper, looking at the literatures from abroad as well as in this country, how to do media analysis, what had happened in Gujarat, news reporting, what had happened in the other riots in India. We're cross-checking all of them and then see. And I realized that there is something very, very unfortunate has happened over this time. Especially some of the national newspapers, horribly went wrong according to their own standard of professional journalism. So this is the first part that I want to share with you. So everything, especially from outside the state, whatever you heard about Manipur is a classic example that I am sharing with you. You can see this. It's a headline. Tribal men killed 3 guys. When 3 Meiteis who were sleeping in their own house and they were killed, the news was not covered like this in the headline. That's an interesting way to manipulate your mind. Now let's go to the second part of my sharing with you. I said we need to understand ourselves. So let's try to understand what Manipur is. Paung pahari na sakpa singlay paki ima haini say malay bini tabiro na. Homlam laman singlam noy nangi minum si sawi he ima la sa loy sangi the singlay paki ima Manipur na loy na ko. So we are a mountainous region, a hill state. City concepts that we don't have. That Manipur is a hill state is something that forget about the rest of the country or the world. Even among Manipuris, Meiteis particularly, even they don't know this one. You think that the relationship between Banaras, Allahabad, Lucknow, and its relationship with Kulu, Manali, and Uttarakhand is the same as our relationship with Imphal and Churachandpur or Imphal and Ukhrul. You do not realize that one. But so that even the state government classified Manipur in its policies as a hill state. Manipur government petitions that please declare Manipur as a hill state. I'm not putting a say. You check it, 2014-15 in newspaper headline they call. Pauna Prajavasi na makut thang pai mega yekna British ki sipai na nomai ka pa pada Pauna Prajavasi si aduma lam from the sea within a day. This is the news headline. Does it make sense? I have been investigating this for decades now. Anthropology I call it the personality. Every individual has a personality. Like that, every community, every nation has a personality. That call it national characteristic. American anthropologists in the what makes Japanese tick kind of study tower. Chrysanthemum and the sword kind of root benedictia, formularium. This is about the national character of Japanese. In the 1990s, with the globalization of national corporate marketing over the culture of a particular nation, they invest money to investigate. For example, what is the typical way in which the Indians tend to order food in the restaurant, and how does it happen in Americans? They try to investigate. So India is a country. Pulap chami na sa kay cha siya. Mani na si cha na si chao kay ta taw na bane ko. Aluga Western countries na ay si chani, amana ay si chani, ay chani. So that they said individualism versus collectivism. I ordered to national cultures. How does Indian behave and how an American behaves? So through these studies called national characteristic studies, national character in America. According to Manipur is national character. ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒ ꯂꯩꯃꯤꯟꯅꯔꯤꯕ ꯐꯨꯔꯨꯞꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯕ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯌꯥꯎꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯉꯥꯡꯗꯣꯏꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯩꯇꯩꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯅꯤ ꯃꯦꯅꯤ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯗ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯕꯅꯤ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯕ ꯈꯔꯁꯨ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯂꯩꯕꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯦꯌꯔ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯑꯦꯂꯤꯃꯦꯟ ꯂꯩꯒꯅꯤ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯕꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯒꯅꯤ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯣꯗꯂꯤ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯗꯁꯨ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯅꯤ ꯏꯐ ꯌꯨ ꯆꯦꯛ ꯋꯤꯠ ꯑꯁꯥꯃꯤꯁꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯌꯦꯡꯅꯔꯛꯄꯗ irrespective of your communities within Manipur ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯖꯕ ꯂꯩꯕꯅꯤ ꯉꯥꯡꯕꯗꯁꯨꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯄꯥꯏ ꯑꯦꯖꯦꯟꯁꯤꯁꯤꯅꯁꯨ ꯃꯩꯇꯩꯅꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯁꯦ ꯀꯥꯏꯒꯦ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔ ꯃꯆꯥꯅꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯁꯦ ꯀꯥꯏ ꯈꯪꯒꯦꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯅꯦꯇꯤꯚ ꯍꯦꯕꯤꯠ ꯀꯧꯏ you will never hear this among Bengalis. So when you worry some chat the intelligence agency no parise that's the Manipur machane but then accent American no man also I said I don't want to be kind of actually my thing it's typical habits. So these are the ways people study in detail. Character se karino, moi ki style se karino. So the second part I want to understand ourselves. So let's begin what basic koi the hills se isna karino. Are ingang mas mathong ang may jai ne. This newspaper headline ne sa haigi do bona ba da basina makut kulai para ka yeng na wi lan sa pa ke the effect of the nomi ka putun sibni do ma lan from the sibni na de. I don't know how it becomes a news headline. Fauna was about to charge against the enemy camp and he was shot at, but he did not die in the battle. Some gave to those newspaper editors. I'm not going to Sansana by going. See how I'm solid the name. Now, man, since you know, I'm the Roman, I could be a pastor, I'm going to be taken. I'm going to get around and see the flower. We must be honest to know what our weakness so that we can change it. And this is the crisis that is time to change. We don't have a culture of dialogue and discussion and evolving a collective opinion की culture रहते हैं dictate तो वो group तक इसकी group हमने dictate तो रोमनी why ना तो हमने contestation तो हमने हमने सुंदर की विधमा की dictate चला रोई हम की सकनी but people की नुम्द की माँ की मियाँ ना मोई की वाखल की थोड़ा पर share वो ना मैं थोप में हम रिसेंट ना साइकी खाना नहीं ना बताना तो किस तरह से कोई जो वाक तो की नहीं ना According to the limited knowledge I have about this school of thought of national characteristic studies technique, this is another evaluate of the environment. How come that become a national newspaper headline for you after October 1? CCTV Tangale Matamamada Aduga Tamana to a press conference, one of the ministers said CCTV don't mind to the Musaka Banana Yasmi. Matamu the mice 3-4 hours in La Deva. I don't mind letting, I don't know CCTV Tangal with the Kariwaka Tangal in Hangman to Evo. That's how we've been doing like. Which is so I don't know Kari Tulakani command or Kani said we come of my yaw never said. I don't know what's going to plant over Bama Lake Ice. German road kind of star and become to Cuban powder and different and like it. Narana can quit that away. So according to Masi what lake must say I must I didn't come home. No, this is not Sidava, this is critical analysis of ourselves. So that we know the weakness, then we will change it. Honesty is something very crisis. Manipur की मरम दा एक share तो के खाना खाने से यार मनी खाने को यार मछली आए. What is Manipur? Let's see. Aku single part is Are we playing Indo-Gangetic play the Libra? Not the game over the sport. See, these are called Himalayan ranges, right? Himalayan ranges, notice Arunachal, it's sloped down. Andaman, Bogyao is there. This is the fold created by a collision between two plates, Eurasia plate, Indian plate, there was a collision some 50 million years ago. And that's how Himalayan ranges comes out. And Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, Arakan ranges, and all the way to Andamans is part of that fold.
Thengai na buti tongkhalak pasaruk tuneba, the elevated portion. Aduga thengai na buti the cushion gi pasaruk se. There's a depression around this place. And in millions of years, ishing duna putharakpa sediments ma'am, duna form, it filled in that it became what is known as Indo-Gangetic plain, a very fertile plain, created by those sedimentation. So Lucknow, Allahabad, all of them are part of the plain. Uttarakhand is part of what is called Shivalik Range, mangi kwaidagi neba Himalayan ki sab to be called. So hill and the valley ki relationship ka, plain and this mountainous relationship ka se khane. So Manipur and Nagaland and Mizoram also, you can see that little closer. You just give a little closer shot of this one. These are all hill tracks. Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur is all hill track. The white spot in between is the valley. Valley by definition is part of a mountainous region. There is no valley in Indo-Gangetic plain. Do you have a valley in Allahabad, in Lucknow? No, this is plain. So valley by definition is part of a mountainous region. See the valley, so you do a zoom in, then you say, so first thing you realize that Manipur is part of a mountainous Himalayan region. That is why Planning Commission termed Manipur as a hill state, along with Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram, Meghalaya. These are called hill state. Atopa hill Jharkhand, Maharashtra and Assam. You have this portion is Assam. You have this new Kachar, can't be along and all these things. So they have portions of hill. More in the Planning Commission, that they are called state with hill areas. Ching is Harung Yobalai Park, Haibama, the Chinglai Park, Haibama. Hill state, Haibama, state with hill areas. So they classify Assam as a state with hill areas and Manipur as a hill state. So we think that our relationship with our brothers in the upland areas, in Ukrul and others, as if this is a relationship between a Homia speaker of the Brahmaputra Valley and the Nagas of the Naga Hills, Nagaland, Ola Ibisiki. Guwahati is roughly 50 meters above sea level, whereas Kohima is 1,450 level. It's almost like 30 times higher. Okay? And Aizawl is also something like 1,200 meters above sea level, and Guwahati is 50 meters. You know the difference between valley, the plains, and the Brahmaputra Valley, I say, it's a part of the Indo-Gangetic plain. The plain, the mountainous and hill region, the relationship is not the same as the valley and its relationship with the hill areas within the mountainous terrain. So you see that Imphal is 790 meters above sea level. 790. And Guwahati is 50 meters. How high is Churajampur down? 820. This is part of the same. In fact, if you zoom in, it is what the geography and geologists call it Central Valley. You know where is Churajampur? It is this valley. Is Churajampur a hill or is it a valley? It's a valley. You see this one. You check it played out. This is Churajampur for you. Torpung is there. The blue one is Loktak Lake. On the side is the Imphal. How do you separate hill and valley kind of concept? What is the relationship between valley and hill? The relationship between Churajampur, which is 820 elevations, and Imphal is 7. You can see Loktak, the other side of the Loktak is Imphal. And you are talking here in national area, in other words, hill and valley and hill. And how high is Ukrul? Is almost like double Imphal. 1,500 and so on. Twice. Now what is the difference between Kohima and Guwahati? 30 times. 50 versus 1,500. One is 780 versus 1,500. It's a double. And you can see it is part of the mountainous. And many of these hillocks are part of the hill districts, including in between. So how do you separate this hill and valley? particularly places like Kangpopi, which is in the northern tip of this central valley. Ukhrul is okay, Ukhrul is upland. But Churachandpur town is this. You understand this one? This is the thing that you must understand, that Manipur is a mountainous terrain, is a geographical, a geological and political economic fact given by the Planning Commission as well. But we started thinking that as if the relationship between Imphal and Churachandpur and Imphal and Ukhrul is like that of the Guwahati and the Kohima and Guwahati and the Lusai Hills, or the Allahabad and the Uttarakhand and Manali and so on. It's a false conception that you have. It's the first thing that we need to know about ourselves. This is not me who's saying, this is the Planning Commission who's defining Manipur as a hill state. So please keep this thing in mind. The first thing we need to know. It's okay. Now, let me tell you about, see, all these hill areas, they're higher, like, Ukhruls and others are much higher, 2,000 is 1,800 meters. What they have found out, archaeologists have found out, is that human settlement began in the higher ranges of the hill. Anybody who has done archaeology will know there's something called Paleolithic site, which is the old Stone Age sites are found in the higher regions. And the new Stone Age, which is the Neolithic sites, are found in the lower ranges of the hill and the foothills and the valley. What does these evidences show? That the human settlement began in the upland in the ridges and then slowly come down as the water receded. So that's how the human settlement. That's why Meitei's origin myth says, Awang Kauru Achubam Laimanai Kundahan. That we began from the hill and Kauru is. That anthropological sense is because it is a memory embedded in our mind that human settlement began upland and it comes down. And it is a typical tendency across all the mountainous regions. From the higher regions, people come down towards the lower regions. And the more urbanization happens as human civilization progresses, more and more people come down to the lower ranges. It's everywhere. Manipur is the same, so people come down to the valley areas more and more. It's a movement. So don't think that Meiteis will love to shift en masse in the hill others. No, many will come down. Not only Meiteis, others will also come down. You realize that the Torhung area is. These are all tribal and Meiteis settlement together. It's a very natural process in that sense. So we have a false idea of what is hill, what is valley, what is his relationship. So our relationship is very different. This is something that I want all of us to be aware. And state formation theory that in the valley here, the food production more, surplus population state formation state these are different kingdoms. The one who was at the center, which is in Kangla, became more and more powerful. Meitei is born out of an amalgamation of various people. A lot of people immigrated. And there's a combination of those mixing is what the Meiteis are. The dual language, what about the Wahi like English is a young lady. What about the Wahi exasperation, anger, frustration. Similar man, synonym Liza, Ising, Nami, Malaya, Nushik, so you have multiple uses in English. So amalgamate of community. That's what Meitei is. So please remember that. It is evolved out of these trajectories. The Meitei is we are much more a broader consolidated community in that sense. So we need to know how to imagine Meiteis as a community. That's something that we need to know. State formation, I want to cut short here. This is going to be a long time otherwise. I just wanted to do two more things to speak. So I will end by saying that Manipur is 700. You must remember that Constitution of India recognizes that Manipur existed before the Indian Republic came into being. India ki constitution se lai thi ki mamang de ki Manipur mein sa. It is recognized none other than by the Indian constitution itself. In Schedule 1 of the constitutions, Manipur is defined. Do you have that definition here? It is defined as Manipuri definition, 1903. The territory which immediately before the commencement of this constitution was being administered as if it were a chief commissioner's province under the name Manipur. It says that before the commencement of the constitution, इसी constitution से पहले ही जो entity territory है मणिपुर के नाम क्या है, यही territory है मणिपुर. That's how the constitution defines. This shows that Manipur existed before the constitution was framed. And what is this Chief Commissioner's province? It was the implementation of the merger agreement. On 15 October 1949, Manipur Assembly was dismissed and it was put under a commissioner's rule. And that is how that commissioner ruled. Later on, those commissioners' rule in the Indian constitution were clubbed together under a Part C states. So that is the history of Manipur. It has a long history. But remember that Meiteis have a problem. We take to some of us at least, not all of us, some of us suffer from, I call it, imperial nostalgia. You know, this is that's a kingship. We're not that kingdom. We are a modern state, democratic and republican ki idea na guide tawa. You must distinguish today. Photo ye bada angang wedding ki picture to ka ai ye bada ai su ai ne dum hai ne, but that is not me, right? I know so I'm very different from that 3 years old or class 10 student. Bimol in class 10, Bimol in college is very different from Bimol today. So in a very similar sense, today's Manipur is very different from in its composition and its structures and its form. All of them are different. So you need to understand that contemporary Manipur is not in a monarchic or imperial nostalgia. Meaning that Ningthau is different. Today there is no Ningthau. We choose our rulers, our governors and so on. Aware of something. So Manipur you must know that it cannot be defined in terms of an imperial position. It must be defined according to the people who reside in this territory today. So, can you tell me? No. That we all, when we say we, that you must recognize that we are not the only one. People who the idea karaba yungfam da sara kan dai koi put de ki haba ma wakhal no ma chamni ning thok pa ne ki wakhal ro da lai ba aduna Manipur sara ka di ya aduna ne na sai hai je ki sai koi da moment se kari no ba mun kha na traga di ai ki past ka present ka kari mari le ne Manipur se kari kham da na mun le ka di khana che na ki po chi yang ki da la ka ne na hai ba ni wa da ai abai kham ya ke no ko le se me am kham ro ka ni Pal sari ne se. It's a stockade defense. Palil na base game maruga kakalaga 5 1 spot ne na khoi bu pal le na na mase masaki sifai sing pal le na ba state defense or na le na ba pot na ka ne state of information na aduna sing de ismai kakala kanda haida ba bo le ro ne de kitan ne bo ka sa de ki kabo beli se geography na sustain ta ta ne do ngasi ki le ni geography city. It is Manipur, the geography is to support what is all the rivers in neighboring Nagaland flows from southeast to northwest. Same thing happened in Mizoram. All the river flows from southeast to northwest. Manipur from the north to south or southwest to southeast. So it is the same geographical structure. Organic when it's lonely, the same family they get listen like in folklore that share sing the tova the share to life form do reinvent to na deri the thada pesa to phano na da ai even is the ka be no mama ai were da de ki saja ki na photo the be mama na kan charaga you budget ta ki ko ma Manipur across community ta this must be talked out. Your identity politics must have a limit to this one. Akoi say na Manipur is kara mano hai da I to jai jai gadoi se ꯑꯅꯧꯕ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔ ꯑꯃ ꯔꯤꯏꯟꯚꯦꯟꯠ ꯇꯧꯕꯁꯦ ꯉꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯅꯧꯕ ꯋꯥꯈꯜꯂꯣꯟ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯥꯏꯗꯤꯌꯥ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯋꯥꯔꯤ ꯋꯥꯇꯥꯏ ꯁꯥꯔꯒ ꯆꯪꯉꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯂꯤꯗ ꯂꯧꯕꯗ ꯃꯩꯇꯩ ꯍꯦꯖ ꯑꯦ ꯍ꯭ꯌꯨꯖ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁꯤꯕꯤꯂꯤꯇꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯍꯤꯁꯇꯣꯔꯤꯀꯦꯜ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁꯤꯕꯤꯂꯤꯇꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩꯕꯁꯤꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯩꯇꯩ ꯀꯥꯎꯕ ꯐꯩ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯈꯨꯕ ꯃꯤꯠꯌꯦꯡꯗ ꯌꯦꯡꯕ ꯃꯩꯇꯩꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯠꯌꯦꯡ ꯅꯠꯇꯕꯗ ꯆꯥꯎꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯒ ꯑꯅꯧꯕ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔ ꯑꯃ ꯏꯟꯚꯦꯟꯠ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯉꯝꯅꯅꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯒꯗꯕꯅꯤ ꯃꯊꯪꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯏꯟꯠ ꯑꯅꯤꯁꯤꯕꯨꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯊꯨꯅ ꯂꯣꯏꯁꯤꯟꯖꯔꯒꯦ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗ ꯑꯣꯜꯔꯦꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯇꯆ ꯇꯧꯒꯗꯕ ꯃꯦꯖꯔꯗꯤ ꯇꯧꯈ꯭ꯔꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯍꯨꯝꯁꯨꯕꯗ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯊꯣꯛꯏꯕ ꯏꯔꯥꯡꯁꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯑꯝꯇ ꯌꯦꯡꯕꯤꯌꯨ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯕ this is separate administration is a result of this violence ꯂꯩꯃꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯉꯝꯃꯔꯣꯏ we can't live together ꯍꯥꯏꯕ no it's not separate administration is already an aspiration among many communities in Manipur especially among what we call as scheduled tribes Sigi violence, sigi mamang nila put na kaya ay masahay akuba community identity in the base of akuba mi ngayon put na ba. Let me na rin geography sigi nature si karino. World mo may po si karino hanggang the daily dati paisa hata raga lay nung nagtani na ay gisarong tarong ay masahay niyo hana di mo mamalay ran ba doon ay ka bedroom mamaga drawing room mo na naman na sa narga mo na kitchen na mo napsan naman dami tarong tugay bagay people na tawre bagay na paisa do mabani kada ka do Asigi wakanlon leba Manipur ama new Manipur ama ko invent taw ngam aduna sigi aspiration ti hana identity politics yung pang marka lakwa identity ne what has happened is masigi identity is the joke ka ko ya palai ba joke ina sa na bagi remember that Raja Gaukadang Memorial Football Tournament they started in 2012 who is Gaukadang Suti Tribe Chimni Lusai finally given in power never Suti Tribe but masina Lusai ko kayo yaro moy mayang in power mo buwan greba kamay sigi Manipur de Infal Korela na receive zela he was arrested adu ki Shibu Usran Champu khani they have celebrated this as a victim of Meiteis from 2012 a tournament big football tournament See the nationalist mobilization, Jongi nationalism, 2012 te hong na aduna ko 2015 so you have the same problem. Kasi ako yung wog rin Ada kay sati ba na Maitay ki pakunta sigi ba mi na football tournament sila ama na naga ki pakunta sigi ba na muksu next year 2013 that they have another celebration called Black September. Black September is 1994 150 cookies in the cookie naga class. On a single day, largest missive, the Chama Trama Siva, September Gitantraum in 1994. Adugi Mimito Mana Palan Taurebosi. You know, look at this. Manipur cookie naga is that this groups is trying to do is one enemy is Naga, so they have to function. One enemy is Maite our Bukhatan King in Tauraga. Nationalism of Masaka Madugi separate administration law. In order to implement that, according to my analysis, as I feel it, violence it is like the Muslim League who was longing for a separate homeland for the Muslims. They started something called Direct Action Day. It's part of your history textbooks. The violence erupted in Kolkata on 16th. See Direct Action Day, the violence on 12th. They said that the separate administration, the talk was already going on before that with the government of Manipur, territorial, 6 they are already going on. So this violence is a technique to pressure the government, ensure that the species are separated, people hate each other, and that's the violence that was inaugurated on 3rd of May. Masi ako kano mama chumlo na kasi. Ako na masida karmay respond to the high report to never lives. So this is the nature. Now second very important thing we tend to forget. Asuk sa lepa mada India da asuk mathaw na leba army leba sina ila namada level nung biba maram kari kinwasa. Everybody must ask. Why is that in a country like India this violence has been allowed for 3 months? Never has it happened in the history of the world. Never happened, in the history of the country. That such kind of violence was allowed for 3 months. Gujarat riot, Muzaffarnagar riot, whatever riots. You must ask this question. Why?
The state collusion with Meitei police and the Taureva. And on the other hand, Meiteis are saying that Assam rifle, we are complaining. And why is it the government of India is silent? Why they are not doing? It's a serious matter, my dears. So I have said in public meeting as well as national TV, the inaction of the Indian state itself is an action that is involved in this violence. If they want to stop, they would have stopped this violence a long time. Before the looting happens, before anything, there's a reason. This is the third aspect that I want to tell you. Because unlike other areas, Manipur has been a theater of armed resistance, armed insurgencies, call whatever you name. 50, 60 years, Kulai Bible and the Kuki group they will come to set. These have been part of the counter-insurgency strategy. Is demanding, relationship between there. I can share some of them. Do you have it? This is an exercise. Everybody knows everything about it. It's everybody's knowledge. No, I don't have to say. Some have to say. I go to political party leaders like any of my arms. Geography की पोटे ये मौका deforestation in hill flood is only Imphal the thole के लोग नहीं When I was young, Imphal to rail थी ising to हो bravo my generation. Lu लगा ising चलन लिबल हमने बाय कोई इरू जरम लिबा महाबली की इधर इधर चलना का इरू जब चलन लिबल जगा रहे थे. कोई check Imphal to rail के लोग ये मौके Thawal to rail के लोग ये मौका. Why is that all these rivers have been dried up? The deforestation has led to that lack of absorption, landslide, a number of landslides, flood, so there is flood. So there is an intimate connection between the hill and the valley. Even in environmental, you can't leave it. If you do a deforestation in the uplands, you will have a problem in the valley. We will be living like this. Territory, history, your own life. A dignified life, the valley, it has to be told to people, it's not only about politics. What is the fundamental relationship between the hills and the forests and the valleys, lake and the rivers? Ecology system, basic survival, we rely on forest. Forest these are all which is called valley forest. 1936, the Indian Foresters Journal formally. It says that these are forests from where Meiteis used to get woods for firewoods, for building houses and building boats. I couldn't remember the things everybody knows. You ask anybody who's there in late 50s and 60s, they will tell you. So we are dependent on do you think that those people who live in Churachapur towns are forest dwellers? Do they use firewood or gas? So what is this forest dwellers? Simply because some people are classified as scheduled tribes, so they are linked. Ako'y dana linked out there. Ato umang line English na kayo diya. Meiteis are the only one who worship forest deity. Christians are trained. Abrahamic religion. We don't discard our own rituals, our own belief system, do we? Mapan ki category ne like temple and library, we might have to put in places of worship in higher because you are buying the categories from the places of worship definition given by others. But if you look within your own culture, our house itself is a place of worship. Because you have an external concept, so you have the idea of a mosque, a temple, and a church, so it is outside the house. In Meitei's cosmology, houses, but in Meitei house you cannot skip houses, but in Meitei house you cannot skip Salamai and the limited syllabus space. Houses means you are limited syllabus space. Houses means you are also simultaneously burning our places of worship. Can you walk? You must be out from your I have to separate and see if I can. Every crisis is a moment of growth. The bucket kind of like white food ne ko get to be characters in alona I ko ya aswa ne khang bagai isa de ho ro sim no kadam ne begins from us then learn in Nasi Manipuri Hyderabad society like said this is a platform where you can try to practice the new Manipur. Can we discuss, we can have a oneness, try it out, leadership quality like this in a leadership now we start these are small battles for the larger game plan. So the battle you need to fight is Hyderabad Manipuri society, you discuss this beyond such kind of meeting. Akoin tauri se kaino kari step tauri ai Bangalore la ibuna kai tauri, Imphal la ibuna kai tauri, US la ibuna kai tauri. Networking am taunga. Let's create a synergy so that we defend a united, a new Manipur where not only Meiteis, no Meiteis with imperial nostalgia, but a new Meiteis and a new Manipur with respect for everybody, every community, irrespective of their caste, creed, religion. Anong Manipur ma ko me away ko ma ai ko na mamang tharaga anong Manipur di siwa ko tuena ai ko na litaw ga chat na bagi concert am chansan bagi mata moire masi chat na bagi concert sa it's already begins from here and now in Hyderabad will do tomorrow nothing. It is a serious challenge that we ever face in our life as a collective. History dala haro double sig incidents. Incidentally, the chahi tere khunta patho ki bagi chahi chani subune ko place. 1819 lagi na 1826 ni. Natra already 2019 was the completion of the chahi tere khunta ko. We are in the mid of chahi tere khunta ko. Incidentally, this is our eastern front that we are fighting. Awana suna kade changa kuda chak mana trainer hai British ki matlab lo lai ke sona kan lai ka mu sigi marak ta khoi na lo do fir kaino ipai pu sing kari soigi khoi na hoji bau kari soigi kari chun to ya je khalaga a united Manipur where everybody can live with dignity and harmony. Every community we need to work, start discussing and acting right now. Press on your leaders not to be silent and be responsible. You see how I try to listen there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Insightful and it is always a delight to hear you speak. Now I will hand it over to Mona to call our next speaker.
Thank you. Mathang tarakba asigi akoina thoidok hendekna sakhanaraba Oza Asang. Mayam Napigani, sorry for that technical interruption. To introduce respected Sir Asang. Sir Asang Kasar hails from Chadong village, Manipur, and he belongs to the Naga tribe. He is presently the president of Indigenous Peoples Forum, Manipur. Oza Asang is known for his initiative for peace since the early days of the present. He is the convener of the Forum of Restoration of Peace in Manipur and has relentlessly advocated for peace and reconciliation and has proposed a comprehensive solution to bring stability. Thank you, sir, for joining with us and uh, thank you for joining, and we are eagerly waiting for you to share your valuable words with us.
So we all welcome and clap our hands. From 24 hours, we are talking, no smiling when we meet in everywhere, no at all. So I pray, lady of our group singer, just no I bro, I can say to say number. I bro, I bro. Quay là tâm cái lấy liền từ đầu cùng tôi đó ai gì tâm cái người đó cả. So according to your given time, I think I should let her. I don't talk about it with me go. I want a 40 minutes PA 30 duration again. 30 tao kada warning mag pipiro. Koi yung timing su kai no in the chapter na phagani. I na law zai. I na nan ka tori kusida. It's something different. It's something different. What we need to do. What shall we do now in our state? Adronda Ichakani. I would like to give thanks to this organizing committee, and I acknowledge our two panelists, and I also acknowledge the media fraternity. My dear fellow citizens, I am blessed and delighted to deliver a discourse on the assigned topic, post-conflict Manipur, role of indigenous communities and youth, a way forward. Today, the state of Manipur is in the boil with the two communities and have been engaged in a deadly communal clash, with more than 180 people perished, more than 5,000 dwelling houses burned, and more than 60,000 people internally displaced. The central government miserably failed to contain the volatile situation. Union government lacking commitment, the party and seriousness to bring the state back to normalcy. More than 90 days have passed by, but no yet seen any sign of semblance of peace and equanimity in the state. The Supreme Court has come down heavily on the state government for failing to control the restive situations so far. The Prime Minister, while replying to the no-confidence motion over Manipur communal mayhem in the lower chamber of Indian Parliament on the 10th August 2023, spoke for more than 2 hours, touching, many other issues, but hardly 5 minutes on Manipur violence. This is condemnable, and the Prime Minister of this nation simply uttered the word that peace will return to Manipur with no roadmap to usher in peace and normalcy in Manipur. Now coming to the topic, post-conflict Manipur, role of indigenous communities and youth, a way forward. Post-conflict Manipur will be an ample, opportune, and most conducive period of time when coming together, rebuilding, restoring, and reconciliation of our strength, bond of brotherhood, is to happen in the true spirit of love and forgiveness.
a new beginning is to be made for the embattled citizens of Manipur. It will be the best time to renew, refresh, and rekindle our lost bond homage, camaraderie, and fraternity, and take our state of Manipur to the new height of glory, development, and prosperity in the community of nations. In this endeavor, the role and responsibility of the indigenous and native people of Manipur is of utmost importance. We must act and work in a responsible manner to guide and steer our state to the path of peace, righteousness, and equanimity. The potentials, resources, and talents of the youth community in the state must be fully harnessed and utilized for peace. I would like to appeal to the nation media fraternity or medias. Our medias never counter or justify the central government or before the Prime Minister of this nation or Home Minister of this nation. Why? The media fraternity are keep silent till today. Why they cannot counter? Instead of justifying or narrating the story, cookies, maites, this and that, please, you must fight to this nation. India is a big democratic nation, but why today the innocent people, the poor people, the common people, why they cannot speak to the Prime Minister of this nation? Why they could not meet the Prime Minister of this nation? Why the President of India not allowed to meet the innocent people, the poor people, the caste and the great people? This is so we call democracy. This is not a democracy country, I should say. This is a colonial system. Still we are practicing the colonial system since the British era. After left the British from our place, the Indian copycat the system. But in the outside, they said this is big democracy country, big democracy country. If today I speak the truth, then next day they will come and arrest me again. Shall we call it this democracy level, democracy nation? No, it's never. Because of that, today the conflict is happening in the state of Manipur. The prevailing situation in Manipur cannot control till after 90 days. If it is democracy country, it should be controlled within 72 hours, within a week. This is we call democracy. Thumpings of thousands central paramilitary security forces, in Imphal, in Manipur, deploying more than 80,000 central security paramilitary forces. But why they are not killed even a single militant?
No.
Why they are not arresting the militants? Why they are not controlling the militants? The law and order. But why they are only giving harassment, trouble to our old people, senior citizens, people, innocent people? Why? And why our president of this nation, prime minister of this nation, must be declared something? I could say, I'm not afraid to anybody. This nation. If they want to kill me, they can come and kill me. If they want to arrest me, I am ready to sacrifice for our indigenous people, for our Manipur state. I will sacrifice for the state and people of India. Why at this very, computer age and very developed, country, in our generation, why still Indian nation is, discriminated our Northeast people? And they claim that India is a developed country. India is, processing for the national security, United Nations Security Council. They will never get if they have not maintained the transparency, accountability, and the real democracy. So I want to ask to our national media fraternity, it is quite enough, it's enough that you mention and talking too much about the state of Manipur regarding the privileged situation of Manipur. It's enough. Now you need to justify yourself and you need to counter before the Prime Minister of India, before the government of this nation. I quite long the Grahai. I quite see, I quite got the Kanaraga, Kanana Saru Hunguno, Kanana Keep Haitanguno, Kanana Muru Hunguno. I say, we never analyze this. I quite see the day I quite say analysis of them. So I don't want to provoke now. I need promote on English. Now we need a normalcy. Now we need a peace. In our state. I quite peace later, but already. And the worst way to come down. I quite a bomb the trouble to Torokania. I quite a torn in the we need a peace. We need a normalcy. We need a new thought process. I quite fast mistake of the Kipunamoto to emit over time. And I quite another system police amateur control over time. I give Mapanda, Nangi Mapanda, Nangi state, anybody, whoever our enemies or whoever. Because I will put the I quite the same plan on the Jagada Matam the deal. I quite the reminder, I in call the reminder defend those around. I in call the mean the jungle of secretary. I you the I in call the Puran Java was a Java. I fancy together. I guard bodyguard Tamyabra. I can know what Tamyabra. What do I know? Honor instead of honor, I'm going to honor, I'm going to avoid the father, but the Jalaga, Hena, I quite mean overtake the wood Chancelero. A crazy pop down here. Good you know how who the sheep over there. I don't tender government to me later in this house said, boy, hidden agenda later. A crazy counter over there. But the hidden agenda to come over. I didn't come here. I mean, Japona high but I come here. What center is, going to be done for the state of Manipur? We know something. Nagara might take care of the center of Palmer. You might take care of the Palmer. Cooking and Naga Kata was a center of Palmer. It's not the new things since very long time. But what we talk here? I'm going to pop out the blind that's there. How did the children's go in the Vata? I quit you for meaning the local road. No low rate. I quit. Sinjay Kada Tavano. I quit the Sinjay Tavani lady, what was the Kongo Davani? I quit the issues in the Jamade. I quit table. Dialogue, reason together, peace dialogue over here. Nagagi problem, Nagagi community now our tenary Bamaya, maintain the tenary Bamaya, it's in our book in the tenary Bamaya, acquire all issues. Acquire it down. Other book, dialogue over here. I put the system the Soiba, Natraga, I put the political singer handled over here the game. Mokhay masing yana nungai da dagi magi aspiration amada chakhi banya but ngasi Manipur da notice da Naga sing awa mande khonda tariba cooking da phangli ma awa ma punamak se akhoi issue akhoi struggle se chamanne ya chamana bane but khana ki badegi ngasi smile khara mix up tawraga Shinju way kiba masala to kibanya but the root cause here ngasi akwai big level yamna big level population yam ni jokhatpa mi atopa district am jawba population yamba adugumba le ba in signal le ya le ba he aina akwai educated person sing the I challenge towing body. Singing me wagera, taming me wagera, I hiding body. The boy put him at the lady hand day. Last 2-3 tamlame. If I put the amuk tamlam day. Larry tamlam the Larry hydra some way. Tami chimney, no, see the way, but the payment put the lamina ramki, lamina rugby have. Kari no, I don't know, see the Larry hydra. What it comes scientists, IT, academicians, scholars, intellectuals, IPS, IS, doctors, engineers, so on, many things. Down the line, about chimney shoot, tammy shoot. Aduga. Think about the Pak Manipur. Down the Pazana, put the sinking, Sankat economically, politically, socially, anything that Karamana Numai Hansara, future generations have a policy plan. I point the junction on the Wahab said. Very unfortunate. Party like a key when they go. I say, Hyderabad, I say, you know, Kiamuk Chokat like a city, Kiamuk the lady. Apparently, put us by the Chokat, it will take another 50 or 100 years. Again, why Chidro? Why economically on the somewhere, again, from the better Tauraga, again, a Sondana, again, refugee detector, him in the area. Because again, the educated person sing, politicians sing. Academicians sing, Yam Manipur Sida, very like Banda, Toy, Tamoy, on the Tatola, the Tabak Tobazé, like the Magi sing from the law in the Jalaga, but the Iran Sitoro Paganda, Bangalore, the Leva, my days to the Hitaraku, come there, and that's come there. Hyderabad letters come there, but Delhi the letters, and Pagi, Naraji no Sishu. Masigi, Amalon, the Masigi, Riot say, war say. United Way I did about the Pura so on the other side I am thinking. Our people are so neglected. Our people will never concern our state. When he left from Manipur, outside the church Purkanda, Nangi include Nangi Yum Nangi Leka the Jokan poverty, Nan Jokan and hide the war. You will get the handsome salary. You will live in the 5-star. You will have a swimming pool, many things. You will have thousands crews in your account, but your state, your Lekai, your village is still not competitive or developed. And this computer age, you cannot say that you are a veteran. Nang hai bi away. Akoi suma akoi inkol akoi lebang akoi village hana Singapore ma thau ta ya. Masi akoi hana phata se. Masi shem na akoi shem da ya. Adu logic ki development se the imbalance ho re ya. Akoi Manipur development se imbalance ho re ya. Other the crisis mayam say, Holoponia. Other Pagi like Tapa Hyper, Tami Ching in was no most of them upon the law in the lake fair. Maramdi had the police later, industry factory, IT sector, all this and that. It's never having in our state Manipur. Later, instead Aduada like the Manila. Upon the law in the Hininga about the Chakram. Just no, but our concentration say, I'm a lake of Madu Kanada police system, I got the state government the center of the which is over the same here. Why else is it politicians in the alert way? Only knowledge, only the sick out there, invite out there, meeting out there, consultation out there. Why should I the Bible, none of Bible, why not some things here, one say later on here? I quite it quite get put the accountability with the Malaria. I ain't a couple enough to be multi liners to have it. I quite the concept of mindset of Malaria. This is the problem. A city here, my friend, probably because, but see, Nagati cooking or my taking him to Sulaya. Other Jumde, other taking about the shortest. According to the king and in Tonga falling a concept, which is formed out of the system to Tana Yahweh. Yahweh, I put that to Gilea, me on the day, no, it's a personal highway. God, connected. Not what can say. Don't worry, what can that? Don't worry, it's hard. Come in the Manipur, the Japan said, into the prosperity lehensi라, 이거 동시라, 그리 아이디어 contribute 동시라, 아이 방을 contribute 동시라, 어디고 future generation다, 양은 누마이다, 아이 잘 수고시 짠나나, 양은 적었다, 지금봐 시티 엄마보다, 아이의 population으로, economic policy로, 하이리 모아리 끝나면서 나은 것을 다 돼봐. Meitei people are talking over Meitei issues. Kuki people are only talking Kuki issues. Naga people are all talking Naga issues. Where is our common issues? Where is our common agenda? Where is our collective policy? Thousands paisa tinglaga, tara tara research tawra pasingigi, mokoi instigate injection piraga, ada lang bani abaso. Akoi masi phatta batai. Aduna ngasi Manipur da unite voice, another new thought process, new Manipur, new system. Let us begin from Hyderabad, Manipuri Hyderabad. Let us begin from the Bangalore. Let us begin from the Chennai. Let us begin from the Delhi Manipuri. Let us begin from the Mumbai Manipuri. See the Naga tribal mayam suleyeba. Koi pulaga wari su sao. Koi chalaga history khandaba mayam suleyre. Kamana phedu sinagani. MA pass tore, adu scholar tore, adu the Tamil, JU the Tamil, DU the Tamil, adu hedalaya doga. Akoi Manipur ki indigenous people, Naga, Tangpur ki Meitei wari khandaba, Naga machada, Meitei machada, kuara yauri eba. Hopeless. You must learn the history. If we forget the history, we will be always separated. Please understood it. History cannot be distorted. History, history today I can stick to what we have 2,000, more than 2,000 histories. Our indigenous brothers, our indigenous people. Other than the problem is now. I quite think you knew I got any history coming about. I know when you put a couple of talking about Kari got the yoke from the coming level. I put a something, I put a micron influence story, injection story about the side of the high door. Like upon the Chale, many cities in I put the injection copy, politics, and the Chale, party to the Chale, one injection copy. Problems. Please understand it. We need a peace dialogue within our communities. When you put a little Naga, Chino, Maite, Kuki, Akoi, peace dialogue talking Araga. Akoi, consultative meeting Tauraga. Akoi, home of Tauraganda. Akoi, table coming Araganda. Akoi, history say, Nana come and Araganda. Planning talking Araganda. Akoi, put a mock say, a pop of a political.